If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm Jay Clay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Perfect mode. Everything, anything, many things, plenty things, perfect. Everything, anything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode. Everything, anything, many things, plenty things, perfect mode. Everything, anything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode, 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 everything, anything, 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 perfect mode, perfect mode, everything, anything, 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 perfect mode.
Perfect.
What up? What up? Welcome to Perfect Mode. And first off, let me start by telling y'all that we love y'all. We're grateful for the opportunity to be anywhere sharing our thoughts, hopefully helping you realize that you are perfect. And the reason why I can say that unapologetically is because I know that you are one of one, numero uno. You cannot be replicated, duplicated. And the only reason, and I mean the only reason you would think otherwise, is if you're looking at this person on the side of you and saying, I'm not them. But guess what? You are you. And that's all you need. And of course, it's yours truly, Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. And I have my boy Jay Clay, spiritual rapper and teacher. And we about to jump on and talk about breaking toxic cycles, how to build healthy relationships that last. What up, Jay?
What up? What up? Happy Sunday. It's all my perfect people at the perfect place, the perfect time on this perfect day. Ready to talk about this. I know that I know it's a theme going on because we talked about relationships a bit last week too. We in the midst of a nice theme. We want everybody to heal their relationships with one another, to feel the love and enjoyment of everyone and not be so down and mad and hold grudges, all that other stuff. But before we get into it, I want to give a special birthday shout out to Troy tomorrow, because his birthday is tomorrow, but we won't be on the show till next week. So happy birthday.
Yeah, man. What up? Appreciate that, man. Like, that's the last thing I thought we was gonna do, but that's what's up. I appreciate that. And that just go to show that's my boy. And this is not a toxic cycle. This is a healthy relationship. So I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
So I guess, a million things came to my mind when I first saw this topic. I was like, okay, number one, do I have any toxic relationships? If I don't have any, what happened to them or how did I remedy them? And funny enough, just like always, before we even get to this point, I had to realize that any adversity that I had in any relationship, or if there was any adversity in any relationship, what play in it? What was I bringing to the table? But what were your thoughts when you first saw this?
Yeah, so like one, this toxic word is been so overused. I think, in my opinion, like people are quick to call someone toxic when they don't agree with their way about viewing the world. And I kind of want to get to the root of it, because people are alienating themselves and separating themselves from their happiness. Not to say that this person is their happiness, but like the belief systems that they're holding because of this is kind of in line with that. And I definitely want to talk about that. And also, like, the cycles that people repeat, that actually led to the song Let Go. Like I had some people in my life at the time that they were kind of voicing concerns about things or problems they have with certain people, yet they were the one that kept perpetuating it and bringing it up and letting that be the focal point, which made it continue and grow in their world, instead of looking for the peace in it or looking for the love in it.
No, I mean, trust me. It's funny. Well, first of all, shout out if you don't know Let Go. Y'all got to get that song. It's still that song. And it definitely pushes you to where you need to be, where your mind needs to be. But I guess the second part for me also is just having that. To me, this is one of the beauties of marriage, right? And the reason why I say that is because you have to have somebody that you can throw a bunch of ideas up against that's not going to judge you in such a way that it makes you feel alienated. But not only that, you being able to receive all the stuff that your partner gives you. And it's not always about your relationship with each other, but it's about the life that they engage in outside of your relationship and the things that they share. And so, you know, I've found myself through years being able to be the sounding board, but also train myself while I'm being the sounding board, because up it is you just being in a judgmental space all the time. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, that's what's good about like family and marriage. Like
Yeah,
these are systems that people feel like, well, maybe not marriage so much, but even just familial relationships, family relationships,
yeah,
they feel like, man, I can't break this. I got to make this work because you family.
yeah,
And a lot of times though, too, even though, you know, a lot of people are divorcing, people are sticking together like, man, this is my so-and-so, this is my spouse, I gotta figure this out. And like you said, like it provides a system where it's like, okay, I got to find a way to overlook these things. I have to find a way to do it. But at the same time, you know, with strangers, you might be quick to dismiss, or maybe even friends that's been in your life for 1 or 2 years, because you're like, nah, they're not my lifelong friends. They're not family yet. Or, but still, even then, like I have a friend who had a big fight with their brother the other night, and they want to they said threats to each other, like for real threats, and it's but it's interesting. But the thing is, it's a repeated pattern. It's the same patterns over and over again that's not getting addressed. And yeah, we got to address it. We got to get to the root of it.
You know, what's funny is just the term that you said that it just kind of hit me while you were saying it. When you said lifelong friends, and the funniest part about lifelong friends, you don't know who they are until your life is over, right?
Ooh.
Because at the end of the day, like, people are coming into your life on a consistent basis, and you can say, well, these are people that have been in my life for the longest, but you don't know who's going to stick with you until the end. And so for you to be judgmental in any given instance, and discount somebody because they're new is definitely its own topic as well. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, what's funny about that too, I'm amazed by how, you know, you live your life for a certain amount of time and you're like, man, I got my friends, I'm good. But then someone else comes into your life that you're like, man, how did this person become a part of my regular life? Like I never expected it. And it keeps happening like year in and year out. Like you said, like you're always attracting or repelling people based on who you are or based on the beliefs that you're holding right now. And so, like you said, judgments, man, I've seen judgments be a great killer. I know it's a strong word, but of relationships, just even friendships. So I remember a while ago when like it was a bunch of black shootings by police and other people and stuff. And so this is maybe like, I mean, I'm not saying that it stopped, but I remember it was just like one after another on social media. And a friend of mine
Yeah,
of another race had voiced concerns about it. Well, you know, if they just comply or just something. And it was just like I was triggered by it at the time because I wasn't secure in I was very judgmental, put it like that. I was judging
yeah,
her for judging me, or not even me, judging
the
what I
situation.
identify with.
Yeah,
And because of that, I was ready to just throw the friendship away. Like, man, what do they know? But then I thought about it, like, man, am I really ready to throw a friendship away over one opinion? Like, why am I so tied to this? And I was like, you know what? Let me just unfollow. You know, I'm just gonna unfollow. I won't see those updates until I'm able to work through this. But that way, it's not on them. It's on me to be able to work through. Like,
yeah.
you should be able to have whatever opinion you want. It's your opinion. But yeah, go ahead.
Now, it's funny that you even shared that example, because during this exact same time, I had a similar situation come up, and it was funny. It was somebody from another race who felt like we were good friends, and I felt like I wouldn't say that we were good friends, and I wouldn't say that they think we were good friends. I would say that they feel like we were good acquaintances, where we could literally have any kind of conversation in the sense, right? And what happened was it was one of the black kids that got murdered, and he shared a post with me, and it was pointing out all the negative stuff about this kid that got murdered, giving justification for the police to murder this person, right? And he was like, "See, Troy, this is what I'm talking about." And again, I'm not trying to be, but I'm just saying this is what it is, right? And the craziest thing about the text that he shared with me was the picture of the kid that he was showing me was not the kid in question that got murdered, but he didn't know.
Yeah.
And so of course, you know, it triggered me. It triggered me, right? The first thing that I thought to myself was, this is the problem here. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. I had all of these emotions that ran through, and I was frustrated and too. Like, bro, don't come at me with this bull if you don't know what you're talking about. And that's how I felt. He never knew that. I had the time to digest it, recognize what you're saying. They don't know what we know. They don't experience what we're experiencing. They don't have the same level of attention to detail that we have because of where we're sitting at. So because of that, of course, I can hold it against him, but I also can say, well, let me take this as an opportunity to educate him. And so what I ended up doing was, just to let you know, that's not the same person. And he came back to me and was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. So you can't listen to stuff, everything on social media. And I know that now. And he gave me what I would feel like was a good enough reason for me to realize that I was being overly emotional about the situation, even though I still feel like he was wrong. But yet and still, I was able to maintain that relationship. But not only that, him listening to me in this matter of fact, what has changed well, which is what I would have wanted in the first, because I didn't just throw the relationship away. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and so one thing that's cool about that too is that, like, we all say we want to be at peace. You know, we want to live life, have fun, all this other stuff. Which is funny. People rest. They say rest in peace when somebody's dead. When they're alive, they don't say any of that.
Right.
It's crazy.
Real time.
But
Live in peace, baby.
yeah, appreciate you. Rest in peace as well. Like we had peace. And what was I gonna say about that? So yeah, so people say they want to be at peace, but then they let certain things excite them. Like it's a trigger almost. You know, it's a trigger. It's a response, but you don't realize that it's a program response, that you can actually change your response. Like you don't have to react to everything. It's just you're getting what you said you enjoy. So example, like if I say, you know what, I ain't gonna react to nothing else ever again. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be peaceful no matter what. That's easy to do when you're in peaceful situations. But as soon as someone comes to you, what you judge as maybe bad or harmful or whatever, however you judge, however you judge, you're ready to fight and break that peace. So it's not them that's breaking the peace, it's you that are breaking the peace. And every time you give into it, you are saying, man, I enjoy this more. I only enjoy peace for a time, but then I'm ready for the chaos again. And so we got to start changing that. We got to start recognizing the cues so that when this happens, they're just showing us what we said we enjoy by our attention anyway. They're not doing anything wrong, but once we recognize that, we will see the change in them too.
You know, and the question that comes to my mind as we're talking this through is, what does peace really look like to you? And I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking about anybody just in general. Like, if we're using peace and then a toxic cycle, because we're not talking about toxic people, though toxic people can fall into this. But when you talk about, you know, a toxic cycle, recognizing what peace really looks like to you is really important. And, you know, I use this as an example, not to talk down on social media or any social media platform, but just to talk about toxic cycles for myself. Yeah. And I literally have told you, Jay, that it have been nights where I would be on, let's say, TikTok, hypothetically, right? It could be TikTok, it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram, it could be any of the ones, it could be YouTube Shorts. And I would literally say, okay, I'm looking at one more video. That's it. And then I'm done. And I swipe, and then whatever that video is so compelling to me that I just have to swipe for the next one. And I have to be like, okay, well, whenever it's something that I don't want to watch, then I'll stop. And again, the reason why I bring this specifically up is because I'm talking about a toxic cycle here, and me not recognizing what my peace, well, me knowing what my peace really looked like, but me not effectively making that the main thing. And so, you know, there's nothing wrong with looking at social media videos if that's what you want to do. But I knew in those moments that my peace lied in a breaking a piece of me away from that. And I wasn't able to do that because I didn't make that the prominent part of my life that I wanted to sit up in the forefront. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. What's funny about, like, toxic people, as they say, is the person calling the other one toxic is the one exhibiting the behaviors they're saying of the other. So I'm gonna share something real quick. So there was a 2016 article on Psychology Today, and it listed the 8 things that most toxic people do, or that they have in common with each other. And one of them they are not caring, supportive, or interested in what's important to you. They take no responsibility for their own feelings. They make you prove yourself to them. They make you defend yourself. Toxic people are manipulative. They are inconsistent. They don't apologize. They are judgmental. So every time they're saying that about the person, that person can say the same thing about them in that moment. It's like, well, you're not considering my feelings because you're calling me toxic by how I feel. You're being judgmental by judging me. And we don't realize we are the facilitator of the toxicity. And not only that, like if a person truly could be toxic to somebody else, that means someone could truly be the cure to someone else. And so why not take that stance? Why not say, I don't care about your toxicity. I'm just going to be the cure. So I'm curing to you and me and myself. But go ahead.
And the funny thing is, this is again a crazy dichotomy, I guess I'd say, in it all, because what we do is whenever you have the opportunity to be the opposite, which you stated, we don't feel like we actually have the power to change that. We see the toxicity that we're seeing is a permanent thing. Like, I can't change this person. But again, not realizing that you're reflecting yourself, saying that I can't change who I am. I can't do this stuff. And it's funny that we remove that power and don't see that we actually can place an imprint on ourselves that changes the people that are around us. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I've had two people in this week. It's crazy now that I think about it. Like two different people that they were angry at somebody else, and I was sharing why you should forgive and just forgive, and it was like, you're right, but I'm gonna do it after I get my revenge. What? Like, and so like it's a never ending cycle. Like you're not ready to give up.
Oh man, oh no.
What'd you say?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like you're not ready to give up that non-peace. That's the only way I can call it. You're not ready to give up that non-love in favor of love. You want to maintain this for as long as you can, and then say, okay, once I'm done, then I can be peace until that person or somebody else does something again. And it's like you're not being who you say you want to be, or you're not taking advantages of the opportunities that are brought to you to allow you to be who you want to be.
Again, it's funny because again, you literally hit the nail on the head with the toxicity part of it. And it's funny. It's like me saying that I'm not going to go drink any water until my wife grows just a little bit taller. Like I can't do it because I'm going to limit. Like I don't want to change my life until that thing changes. And again, that's just a releasing of your true power. Because the reality of it is I have the opportunity to go get water whether anything changes. I also have the opportunity to go and apologize or forgive or move beyond it. And again, I really wrote this in my book, fam. And I tell a story about a guy that I went to high school with. And why this guy didn't like me, I always speculate why he didn't like me, right? But he wanted to fight me, right? And through years, so when we got to my 10-year reunion, I still kind of held that, like, if you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. So I saw him. At first I thought, man, I'm gonna give him some love, but now I was like, man, forget this dude. I requested him on Facebook. He didn't even accept my invite. Forget him. He like, so again, I'm steady building up this case for my toxicity versus his. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if he's seen the imp. I don't know if he saw the imp. I don't know anything, right? Same thing whenever I see him at the reunions. I don't talk to him. Now, in these personal encounters where we're in front of each other, the visual that we give each other, it indicates he feels the same, but it's still me showing my side of it. Well, I'm not going to talk. If he ain't going to talk, I'm not going to talk. And funny enough, 25 years later, at my reunion this year, I tell myself, you know what? Bump what he think. I'm just going to go up and give him some dap anyway. And the most amazing thing happens when I go up to him. He's like, what's up, man? Boom, boom, boom. And now it's like 25 years have just gone by and there was toxicity. And it may have been with him, but I don't know. I know for sure it was with me. And then this night only gets better because now he brings me into every conversation that he's having. And it just goes to show you just never know. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, the powerful thing about that that people don't realize is like, when you're holding a negative judgment or resentment for someone or animosity or something, it's like you're putting up a barrier, and you think it's a barrier between you and that person, but it's like it's from your joy, from your love. So like, for instance, the other gatherings that you went to that he was at, you weren't fully yourself because you were like, I gotta be ready at any moment. I gotta have this ready. Like if he come at me a certain way, I just gotta be ready. So you're not fully free. You're in chain. You're in captivity, so to speak. And the more boundaries you pull up, the more blocks to love you have. Like you're like, man, how come I can't just be happy? How come things can be free? It's because you've boxed yourself in this small little container by being offended, or like offense, or like offensive or defensive. Like you're like, I gotta put up my guard because I don't want to get hurt. But you're being hurt by putting up your guard. And it's important that again we recognize these cycles and patterns so that we can start to address them and then do something about it.
And again, I want to say this. A lot of times we put these blocks up based off of a moment in time. And again, I don't mean like 1 second. When I say a moment, using my scenario as the example, there was a period of time. It could have been a month or 2 months. And that's what I mean by a moment in the time. But just to imagine, somewhere in my psyche, I say that any given moment of time can define any person for the rest of their life. Giving myself that same ownership for myself, knowing that I shown or exhibited that through moments of time I've been different. And I think that's kind of where we put these things, or where these things lie. And again, it's just not about people, it's about toxic cycles. Because if I just really remove him from the equation, there was a toxic cycle that happened with me for 25 years, even though me and him were not engaged. And so, it shows you that that moment of time shaped my life, or those moments of time shape our lives. And it could be for the smallest things. It could be, again, I spent a whole period of my life where I didn't eat guacamole or pico. And I know you might not see the symmetry of how they are alike, but the reality of it is I love guacamole and pico. And because I tasted it one time, somebody may have made it bad. For 20 years of my life, I didn't partake in it. And so the moment when I started to eat it again, I was like, dang, I can't believe I missed all of this. Or I could look at the situation with him, man, I wonder what that relationship could have been like. Or I look at all the things that I maybe didn't try because of something that I saw, and think, man, think about the opportunities that I didn't get to take hold of because of a moment in my life. And that's a toxic cycle. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And so, like, let's talk about how to recognize these patterns, that we've normalized without even knowing it. It's like, how do we get here? And so, the book that we always talk about on here is A Course in Miracles. Great book. One of the things it talks about is that love is all there is. So if someone is not showing love, it's simply a cry for love, which I've seen firsthand. Even when I dove deep into myself, I found that in those instances. So it's like, maybe someone feels bad for some reason. Maybe they feel guilt towards something. They did something to somebody, they feel guilty about it, or somebody called them something and they're angry at it, and they hold it. It just kind of festers. And so they hold it for so long that they want to get rid of it. They're like, man, I can't take this no more. So they seek to blame someone else. They create an image of a character or an avatar to project this onto, that which they're feeling. So then anybody who meets the standards of that, they instantly plant that on them. Like, man, I don't like these kind of people at all. These people are just this and that. Not realizing this person is a mirror to the part of themselves that they don't want to acknowledge. And so they go again, putting up those walls, putting up those fences, blocking themselves in so that only people can meet them there. Like, and it gets added on more and more. And it becomes who you think you are at this point, because that's all you've known animosity toward these people. You start to believe in your own judgments, that your own judgments of this other person is true, without even knowing their story, without even being around them to know their intentions, to know their purpose. And you become someone who you're not. And so how to recognize this is look at all the things that you dislike about another and see if they are embedded in you. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I love that. And again, the self-recognizing part of it is looking at patterns, just understanding what you're missing too. You know what I mean? And again, I just want to bring myself to the carpet here because I just think that, you know, to Clay's point, if you can recognize it, then there's the opportunity for the change. Like there's the moments where you can start to say, okay, well, I know I see all the stuff that I see in them. Let me see if I can see it, because you're going to be in denial at first. You're not going to want to claim that you're this thing that you're saying that you don't like. But I think that when you're doing that and you're being honest, there's love that you get immediately on the other side of that, because there's a thought, at least this is why the way that I see it, there's a thought that if I am in agreement with that I say that I don't have, then I'm going to be miserable. But that's not the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is, once you recognize it and you see, like, dang, like there's a sense of relief, like, man, I can't believe this is what I've been exhibiting within myself. But then the love becomes, because you realize how easy of a switch it is to change it. You realize how easy it is to walk in a different direction. But not only that, you instantly release that you have for those other people. You instantly can see where you've shaped something that wasn't even something that was real. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And oftentimes, like, those people are doing us a service. So what I mean, like, if somebody says something to you in the moment and you get triggered by it, you're angry all of a sudden, or you felt off about what they said, they just expose some kind of limited belief. And so, like, whenever I get triggered now, like, it's far removed, but I welcome it because I want to get rid of any limiting beliefs. It's like, man, why did this really make me mad? Like, truly, why am I mad by this? In most cases, it's either because, for me, it's either because it's something about myself that I thought I hid, but they exposed me on it. So it's like, man, it's not as hidden as I thought it was. And I'm really mad at myself. I'm not mad at them, but of course I place it on them. Like, how dare you say that, blah, blah, blah. Or the other is, what's the other reason that I find myself mad? I can't remember right now, but it's two main reasons. I know it's going to come to me, but again, it has to do with me. It has nothing to do with them. And they pointed it out. Like, had they not said what they said, brought up what they did, I would have never known this. I would have gone through life just being angry when stuff like this happens. But I'm really being angry at myself. And once I know, I'm like, you know what? This is not even a bad thing. I'm fine with that. So what if this is exposed, or so if they see me? This is part of who I am, or blah, blah, blah. But yeah, go ahead.
So two things about that. Like, again, I just love the fact of you looking at somebody, then looking back at yourself, because that's just everything, bro. But like the thing that you have to ask yourself is, somebody that shows you toxicity, or something that shows you toxicity, you have to ask yourself, why did they show me? And the reason why I'm saying that is because we generally only express things that we're comfortable in expressing with people that's relatable to us. And so, like, you know, just like when you're growing up, whether you're a woman or a man, right? When you're dating somebody, or not when you're dating, but when you're getting ready to date somebody, you can like somebody for a long time, but you will never say anything because you're looking for a signal. You're looking for them to show that, hey, we're on the same page. And the moment you feel that way, then you will go, hey, this is, you know, what's up, girl? You know, same thing when it comes to moving relationships to the next phase. Like, you only give what you think people are ready for. And that same thing happens vice versa. So if somebody comes to you and they're showing you a side of themselves, the only reason they're showing that is because they've sensed it, or they feel the same thing about you, that they feel like they can share those things. But the other thing that I want to touch on is that the triggering happens ways. The reason why I say that is because, again, just sharing my story, there was a time where my friends, they were my friends because they wanted to be my friends, right? But I was their friend because of something that I thought in my own head. I remember, and again, and this is where the triggering comes in. I remember being somewhere and somebody getting into it. And I was the friend that came like, let's go, let's get this mud pop.
You froze on me.
And again, they did what a good friend is supposed to do. Man, I appreciate you had my back. Oh, my bad. And if I froze on anybody, I'm just kind of go back. What was the last time you heard, though, Jay?
If I froze,
okay, it don't matter.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's okay. So I'm just saying that triggering happens both ways. And me telling the story about with my friends how one time certain circumstances happened and I showed up and I was ready to go for it, right? Let's get this thing, right? And so after the fact, they came and glorified me, rightfully so, because anytime you stand up for your friends are going to be happy about it. But for me, it was more like, oh, so they know I'm about that life. Let's go. So what ends up happening is the triggering, the toxic cycle that I get in is anytime I'm with friends, I have to make sure that I'm the head buster. I'm coming, I'm down for whatever. I got to do it. And I live a whole life like that, thinking that my friends are only my friends because they know I'm that one that's gonna come, right? And again, that's a toxic cycle we get in because we let the triggering affect us in another way. Now I'm not judging them, I'm judging myself openly and saying that this is the only way that I can be. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Right. And then like by doing that, like you hold yourself in that prison too, to be like, yeah, I'm real. I'm true to this idea that I said when I was younger and before I had as much wisdom as I had now. But I claim to be wise now, but I'm still doing the same stuff that I did before because I gotta be real. I gotta be authentic. And to be real with yourself is to be real enough to say, oh no, I don't want to be that right now. I want to be more. I want to expand more. And I think that's awesome that you recognize that about yourself. And I also remember the other thing too, which is related to what I said at first, but it's if it's a belief that maybe I'm fearful of, like that I've given some kind of power over to, but I haven't quite overcome it yet. And somebody says something in reference to me, and it's almost like, no, I don't. No, that's not me. I haven't done that, or I don't do that, or something like that. And then like I'm triggered by it. I'm ready to lash out and defend myself. Like whenever you feel the need to defend yourself, you know that you've been triggered in some way. But again, it's not them. They're just the revealer. They're just pulling back the layers that you need to look at. And once you do, you realize again, it's not a scary thing. It's not as bad as you made it to be, and you don't have to live according to that anymore.
So funny enough, I'm finna break up your mom and your sister, and it's a funny thing because again, all of this is about the triggers for myself and the way that it made me move either with realization or without realization, right?
Yeah.
And so, funny enough, when we were growing up, you and I say growing up because now we up there. I'm about to be 44 tomorrow, baby. But one day I remember, and there was no malicious intent behind any of this. This is just the reality of it is, bro, what I'm showing people, the way that I'm moving, right? And your mom and your sister is like, oh yeah, true. I know he just having fun. He out there just macking and macking and macking and macking, right? And now, funny enough, it's not just them. At this same time, Brandon, which was a member of our group, is all the time calling me heartthrob. And so, like, he like, man, look, if we need them to pop off, let Troy do it. Now, funny enough, it's not like I was really out here just going wild, right? But there is a demeanor that I was walking with, right? There is an aura that I'm kind of toting with me, a part of my demeanor for music, right? Words that I'm saying. And what I realized was it wasn't their fault, either Brandon or your mom and your sister, for thinking that way of me, because I don't know what they've listened to. I don't know what moments they've had. And I had to make myself understand that these are all based off of moments, but I don't want my life to be based off of a moment. I want my life to be a thing. I want it to be holistic. And so that's part of the thing, one of the things that helped me change my walk holistically. So when I was presented, whether it be in music, whether it be around people, that they could see what I wanted them to see. And that was me also not judging their thought, because I understood that they could only give me back what I had given them. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. I love that. And I was thinking back to like certain times people have said things about me that I was like, what would make them think that? Like, even though I know it, I don't want to say I know it's not true, but like, for example, this sounds like a compliment, but I remember in high school, some people like, oh, here come preacher man. I'm like, preacher man, I don't even go to church. Like, what are you talking about? Preacher man. And it was just like, how did you even get something like that? Look at me now. But yeah, that's crazy. But it's funny though, like how we're putting out stuff, but might not even be realizing it. And I think it's a good thing that you didn't react negative to it, because a lot of times people react negatively to what your reflection of them shows them. And it's like, we hear it all the time. Like, man, I can't believe they must got me messed up. They think I'm somebody else. They think I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. But then you end up proving your point by trying to defend against it. You end up proving their point instead of doing your case justice. But if you really look at yourself like, okay, I am doing this. I am moving like this. Now, do I want to move like this? I do. So it's all right. Or if you don't, then you can make that change because you're aware of it now.
And that's why I would challenge anybody to hear what people say about you or remember experiences that you've gone through, but don't let it matter. And the reason why I say people and experiences is because, again, me sharing my thoughts on guacamole and pico, as simple as it may be, it allows, well, I hope it's showing you that you can miss a lot of opportunities in life based off of these moments. Or like you said, with the example for me and Rollo and your mom and your sister, that didn't mean anything negative about me, only if I allowed it to, right? Because there are times in my life where I felt like I was macking and I was a heartthrob. And not only that, there was still a sense of, even with Rollo, right? When he used to say that to me, used to aggravate me. But I also used to think to myself, but I am a heartthrob though. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like a battle within myself to decide what I wanted to present. And so I would always tell him I was aggravated, but I would never really go off the deep end because I knew in my heart that, hey, this is how I'm feeling about myself. And so he has to be seeing it some kind of way. But go ahead, Jay.
Like he revealed to you what you thought you hid from the world.
Yeah.
And like, and all that is just showing up a mirror. And then like we get mad when they put a mirror to us. Like, look at yourself. Like, oh man, no.
Yeah. And two, the other part to it, like when I'm talking about things, like we allow ourselves to miss so many marks, man, like just off of experience alone. And so one thing, and again, I know we're not at this part of the show, but just to show you the lengths that I've gone to rid myself of these toxic cycles or these toxic behaviors is like, I would give myself little rules. Whenever I go to the restaurant this time, I'm just trying something that I never had before, or I'm going to eat something that I said that I didn't like. And that's the big kick that I've been on for the past couple of years. Something that I said I never liked before, I'm going to eat it again and I'm going to give it another chance because I've made a judgment on something that may not even be real. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And that's real. Like if we can just stop judging, life is that much more fun. And I can attest to it. Like just think about when you were a kid, like you didn't care what other kids did. Like I remember I had a friend that ate dirt. I mean, I had friends that just did all kind of stuff that I wouldn't do, but it's like, hey, want to play? Can so-and-so come out and play? Like you just made friends no matter what. You didn't care anything about them. I remember some conversations I had with kids where they would just say some off the wall stuff. It's like, okay, let's keep playing. Like it had nothing to do with that. And then when you look at the TV shows that people love, like where it's a group of friends together, it's because even though they all do stuff that the others don't agree with, they accept it. They're like, oh, that's just so-and-so. Oh, that's just so-and-so, because they're not judgmental, they're accepting. And the sooner that we follow that, we look up, it's nothing but great relationships all around us because we're not judging our friends or our loved ones. Why would we judge against them? Which is crazy.
So look, man. So here's the crazy thing, and this is not just me. This is everybody. The question that I would ask you is, what moments are you letting dictate your life? Because we're all, whether it's a positive or a negative end, we're all allowing moments of our life to dictate everything else. And so the challenge here is identifying what's making you think or move the way that you're thinking or moving. And if it's not in the way that you feel like it should be, are you up for the challenge to see differently? And it's one of those things that, again, I live by. I try to put as a highlight and recognize every time it's in front of me. But go ahead, Jay.
Man, what was powerful about that is like there are a number of people that are maybe accolade based or authority based. Like, what credentials do you have? Like, why are you an authority on this? And I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, man, can you do this? Do you feel confident about this now? Come on, let's make this happen. But I say that because to your question, what moments are you letting dictate your life? These accomplishments are dictating people's lives, and so it's like I only have the credibility to say this because I have this credential, and they believe in credibility. So then when they go to a new space, they feel disempowered because they don't have the credentials for it, because they're letting this moment or this accolade dictate their life. But not only that, like a lot of people are letting a what do you call it? Like your job, your profession, which is just a word that you choose. Like you're letting your identity be this thing that you do, or you're letting your identity be this thing that happened this one time out of how many years you're living. This one day out of all the days you live, you're letting that be the mandate of your personality, how you interact with the world. And it's like, are those moments worth that? And if not, you gotta let them go.
So this is what's funny about this moment, bro, and these moments that dictate your life. And on the surface of it, like what we're talking about, we allow these moments to essentially shape all of our steps along the way. But the other part to it is that we give these moments more evidence. Like we start to build a case on every moment that we're deciding to let dictate our life. We build a case so that way it can stand firm. And just kind of give you an example again, my late grandmother, before she passed away, I love this lady with everything, because my mama had me when she was young, so she kind of took the ropes and raised me for a lot of my life. So my granny, when I had kids, we had one of the biggest arguments that we had ever. And again, I argued with her a lot just because you grow up with people, you're a kid, you're gonna argue, you just do stuff, right? But this is as an adult. And the reason why I argued with her was because she babysitted my kid one day. And she told me, this is before TJ had turned 1 year old. And she's like, I'm gonna give him, she said, y'all need to start giving this boy water. Now, through technology and time, doctors have come up with, it doesn't mean that, you can't have water, but they give you updated information on how to move. Kids shouldn't drink water until they turn 1 year old, right? But to that point, there's water in the milk that you give them, right? You give them the powder, it's water based, right? And so she goes down this rabbit hole, like, you need to get them water. These doctors don't know what they're talking about. And the case that she has, which is a valid case that she's built up through years, is, well, look at you, Troy. I gave you water. Look at what you're doing. You help you, like, and the thing is, it's one of these things where that's how we build our cases up. Now I looked at my case grow. I've seen how it's affected my life. But the thing is, I haven't looked at how it has had an adverse effect. I'm only looking at everything that I've seen that I've built up to be this magnificent case. And use my grandmother as an example. That's how we are. Like, even with me and guacamole, every time I seen guacamole at the time when I wasn't eating it, I can look how green that is, or look how it turned brown. And so now I'm just building this case over time to tell me, I don't want it to turn brown in my stomach, but everything turned brown in your stomach, right? But it's just you make it Mount Everest, and now you have your reason. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I love that, because like I call it witnesses to our judgments. Like we build this case, and then we serve it as if it's proof. Like, man, you gotta listen to me. Like, y'all both saying y'all both are exhibiting the same behaviors, but for each of your causes. And this is not necessarily a dangerous habit, but the danger in it is when people do it to their own detriment. Like when they show evidence of a case of something they don't want. And the reason I say this is because we are creators by nature. So that which we give power to, that which we show evidence for, is going to be more prominent in our lives. And oftentimes we build cases for things that we don't like, but for whatever reason, we're convinced on it. And so it's like, okay, I got to move my life this way. I'm not ready to fully move my life this way, so I'm going to tell everybody about it. You got to do this. You got to do this. If you don't do this, look, it says it here. We have to do this, but you might not even be doing it yourself yet. Because if you did, you wouldn't care if nobody else was doing it or not. But you are building a case for what you don't want, and then you wonder why you can't live up to it, because you don't want it. Like, why? No way you're gonna live up to standards of what you don't want. Like, that's the hardest thing to do. That we force ourselves to do it, and we look down on people who don't. You gotta sacrifice. You gotta do all this other stuff, and they're being so angry when they say it. When it's like, is it worth it to be if you're gonna be that angry for it? But yeah, go ahead.
Yo, bro, the prime example, like you hit that mug. The prime example is again me building the case of being the rah-rah guy for my group, for my guys, right? And the funny part about it is it's two things. Looking down on people that are not as rah-rah as me. So I could easily be like, oh, you ain't real, you ain't like we boys, that's a feeling that you can have whether you're saying it or not. But not only that, I knew at some point I don't want to be fighting everybody, fam. I don't want to be into it with people. And I don't also want to be the first person people call whenever something finna go down. Like I had a vision of myself not making it, right? Just randomly. And it made me realize, is this what I want? I know this is probably not going to happen, but is this what I want? Well, if it's not what I want, you have to start to be who you want to be. And for myself, the beautiful part about it, and I think everybody will experience this, the first time you get the call and somebody is talking about what you don't want to talk about, or you having to eat something that you don't want to eat just to try to make other people happy or look a certain way, the moment when you decide that you're going to be who you want to be, and those people that you've decided, or those things that you've decided are going to disappear because you're changed, when they stay, and then you realize that, dang, who I am was good enough, is everything. There's nothing better than that. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I love that. And also, like when you decide to change and those people around you, like your loved ones who take offense to it, it's not about you. It's like in from their point of view, like this is my world. Like and they're how dare they're challenging my own belief systems. And I think I'm my belief systems. So since I think I'm my belief systems, but they're challenging it and taking it away, will I crumble with my belief systems? Of course you won't. But we think that way. I've thought that way before. And I've taken offense when people like what you mean you gonna do that now? Like we supposed to be in this together. This is what we do. But it was more me being fearful, but not necessarily taking offense to them. Luckily, they didn't take offense to me taking offense to that. And luckily, I didn't take offense when people did it to me or whatever. It's just it's their own fear that they're going through. And like you said, you realize when these people stay in your life, like it has nothing to do with not even necessarily your actions. It's just who you are. This is just you.
Now, and again, to that point, of course, I was accepted by all my friends because the rah-rah in them needed somewhere to coexist as well. But here's the funny thing, and this is the part again, like I said, once you decide to change and you realize nothing from the standpoint of what you were feeling like you were going to be missing changes, then everybody around you starts to show you what you're currently showing them. And what I mean by that is, from the moment I put on the Perfect Mode shirt, from the moment I started making that be the primary directive, everybody around me was lockstep. Even my wife, even if she didn't agree with it at first, like even my friends, even if they didn't see what I was seeing, the way that they talked to me, the way that they were around me shifted. The things that they looked to me for shifted. The things that they shared back to me shifted. And it was all because they were not dictating who I was based off of any moment. They weren't saying that this is a simplistic thing. They were only in agreement with me being simplistic when I thought that I was simplistic. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. I love that because I mean, everyone can just show us a mirror of what we are. Like even like I've noticed that too, where people shift, but it's not that they're shifting. It's just the reflection is changing. I remember the best example I heard from Bashar is like what a lot of people try to do is look in the mirror and try to get the reflection to smile, but it's like no, you have to smile first. Yeah. So much so that like I've thought about this in terms of opposites because like attracts like. And you have the masculine and feminine, like for most cases they're attracted to each other, and it's like, well, what do you mean? I thought like attracts like. Isn't that the opposite? Not quite, because like if a man was all the way like just hard, they would like other men. But like you seen the strongest of men show a feminine side toward their lady. Like it's like that mirror is that permission slip to be this. And the same thing for them. It's their permission slip to experience the masculine side of themselves that they might not know is there, even though it's in you. Like it's interesting dichotomy when you really dive deep into it, but everything literally is our mirror.
You know, funny, raising kids, bro, you get to see this all the time. Like if you've ever had to discipline a kid that's not at the point to listen to you yet. So what I mean is they're giving you the pushback, like whatever, right? And then when you really hunker down and you get to them, now you're elevated, but when they come down and you're still elevated, you can see the shift in you quick too, because you can see that now the thing that they were, they're not anymore, right? And so it's something that, again, as a parent, you witness all the time. It's been plenty of times where I was like, Brody or TJ, come on, man, what you talking about? And then they say something like, well, Dad, I just didn't know. Like, now, first they will argue with me, and then they be like, well Dad, I just didn't know. And in that moment, it's like, bong, bong, bong. And it real makes you, it brings you back to who they are. And
You
bring
froze
to
on me
who we
again.
are. And if you're not coming to who you are, I went out, didn't I? I said, we bring people to who we are. And if they're not transforming to who you think that they should transform to, then you're not being who you think that you're trying to be. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So I had a moment of clarity when you were speaking. And, you know, us talking about how, you know, we've seen the shift in people or the shift in the reflection. So earlier this month and even last month, I kind of shifted. Like I've been going hard based on, you know, my standards. Like I'm really stepping into who I want to be. But then for like the past couple of weeks, it's like everything changed. It's like everything around me is just different. Like, man, this is what's going on. Like I'm holding this, but I realized because I'm changing that mirror is changing and it's making room for more. Like if I say I want more, I can't hold on to the same way of being or the same way that things are, that that is going to change. And if I judge against that, I'm doing myself a disservice. But if I'm trusting that, I'm accepting, like, you know what, this is part of the process. This is the shifting of my reality toward something that I desire, toward the vibration that I'm holding now. It keeps me there and allows it to happen.
No, I love that, bro. And again, you know, if we're talking about, well, what I will say is that's an indication of you looking at yourself and evaluating what's really going on, which again, we don't tend to do because life is so constant. It's always happening. And sometimes we get caught up and I don't have time to think about what was. I need to only think about what is, which again, I get it. I get it. But sometimes what was allows you to see the truth, right? Allows you to see what you're presenting. And it allows you to take what's happening right now and make that shift. And so I just love that, man. Like you being able to look and see the way that you're affecting you. Because that's what it always is. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And it's funny too, like, you know, how like you hear about instant manifestation and just things. And a lot of times we don't always believe it. We believe it, but we don't really believe it. Because when it comes to us, like, how come we can't be here now? Well, yesterday I just experienced a rip, or how do I say this? That it is possible. Like I know for sure that it is possible. I was just walking and like I do in my neighborhood, and I'm a very observant person. I'm always looking at nature. I'm just looking at stuff. And I was in like the middle of a corner bend, I guess. Like you can see only the certain part, and you can see back there. I literally looked down at my phone for 2 seconds. I looked up. It was a boy on a scooter right next to me. Like there's no way that I wouldn't have seen him or heard him. I didn't even have my headphones on because I was just enjoying nature. And so I was like, man, that's crazy. I was like, watch, I'm gonna turn around. He's not gonna be there. I turned around, he was not there. Like,
No.
and I'm not saying that. Of course, it could be a coincidence. Of course, you know all this stuff. But to me, that was clear. That was confirmation that these instant manifestations can happen. You are on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing.
So I'm gonna give a shout out real quick, but again, just to kind of again show that you can change the dynamic of the people around you if you decide to be you, if you decide to break toxic cycles, if you decide to build relationships that last, but that's all based off of the relationship you have with yourself. But I just wrote a book. It's not out yet. It'll be coming out soon. And again, this is not anything that I ever talked to anybody about except for you or maybe my wife, right? Yeah. But because I've done it, there's a shift in me, right? So my entire being is going, okay, books, right? And the funny thing is, I've been around people that I haven't been around in a long time, don't know what they got going on. But I kind of mentioned it to them. Hey, I'm writing a book on how to write books, right? Just telling everybody. And the craziest thing is, with all of these people I've had millions of conversations with, none of them ever told me that they want to write a book. None of them, right? But funny enough, in this past week, I've had at least seven to eight people all tell me they want to write a book. Teachers, principals, family members, cousins, just all kind of friends. Everybody's telling me this. And in my mind is like, well, why did I never see this? Because I was never looking at it in myself. And that's the point that I wanted to make, even the shameless plug about the book. Is just to show you that we are very complex. We are, and we can't hold people to moments or to things that have happened unless you're willing to hold yourself to that. And and we know that we don't want to hold ourselves to anything that we look at below the realm of who we think we are. And so what you have to do is recognize it and then start to exhibit exactly what it is that you want to exhibit, and it will show itself back to you 100 times fold. Go ahead, Jay.
I love that. And it's true, like you said, like so much so that you really can't believe, like what do you mean you wanted to do this? We've never talked about this.
Right.
We've never had to, like, where am I right now? This can't be real world life right now. Like this is different, but it happens all the time. Every time we make that change, every time we make that switch to something else, there are 100 people that are there with us. Not only that, like I'm sure you've seen things of like people that do what we would call heinous things, but they're together. It's like, how did you meet? One, how did you even meet? And how did you even get comfortable enough to know that y'all would do that together? Like that's just crazy. But that magnet, like who you are, is reflected, and it draws people near you that are like it, and it pushes others away who are not.
And funny enough, so number one, when you said that, I thought about people that rob banks. Like I wanted to rob a bank, like really. But to that point, bro, like just to kind of let you know, like I substitute at school, and I'm just gonna tell you two of the people that I talked to. I was sitting in my son's class on field day, and I was talking to his teacher, just having random conversation, and I just decided, hey, let me mention, hey, I got a book that's probably gonna be coming out, and she was like, man, look, she pulled up her laptop and she said, I've been trying to write these books for the longest, and I don't know what to do, and it was just like, and then I was outside talking to the principal on this same field day, mentioned the same thing, and she said, dude, I can show you the transcripts. I just don't know what to do with them. And it was just like, what in the world? Like, what are the odds of that? But the odds are high, because the reality of it is we are that dynamic. We are that complex. We all have so much in us. It's not just you. And so if we have all that in us, that means the stuff that we've deemed to be bad or toxic, or all the things that we've deemed to be good, we all hold on to those moments, but you get to decide in any given moment. Go ahead, Jay.
Man, but from the other side too, it shows how supported we are. Like she was probably like, God, how do I get my book done? And, oh, here you come, just that same day, probably. Hey, this is how you do it. Not only that, another synchronicity, real quick. Like we have a cleaning lady that comes like every 2 to 3 weeks. And I was talking to her this week because she was sharing with me like a testimony of like her mom that healed miraculously. And she was like, yeah, I do positive content online and stuff. I was like, you know who you're talking to right now? Like, and she couldn't believe it. And it just goes to show, like, all this time you don't know. Like, and so those who are around you are more like you than not like you, that you might not even realize it.
Yeah, it's the way that's the way that you've set it up. And that's, I want to make sure it's the way that you've set it up. So I know we're at the end, bro. I just want, man, good show, bro. I want to tell you right now to your face. I want to tell everybody I'm grateful for y'all being here, because again, without y'all, we wouldn't be here. We'd be doing something, and it'll be positive, but it probably wouldn't be this. But we grateful if you like and think that this show is helpful to you or someone else. Please like, share, subscribe. We got a YouTube, we got an Instagram, we got shirts. Holler at us, and we got books coming. And Jay, you can take us out, baby.
And music coming next week.
Right.
Next week. But yeah. Right. So appreciate y'all again. Let's do this. We here every Sunday, noon Central Time. Yeah. So remember, your perfect creation made by a perfect creator. So you might as well accept your perfection and enter perfect mode. Yeah. If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to perfect mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm Jay Clay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Perfect mode. Everything.